I'm supposed to applaud Mark Zuckerberg for coming out, and everybody's like, look at that. There's no censorship. And I'm like, that's what you heard? What I just heard is him admitting that it's been 4 years of leftist censorship. And sorry, no, you've cost me how much money?
Yeah.
You've cost me my career how much? I need more. I'm sorry. Like I need more than an apology here. I need more than like, hey, it's going to be okay going forward. One, I don't trust you. And two, well, what happened? There's literally like there are bookers that have unfollowed me. But now we're the people that were part of this cancel culture, corporate stuff, they're going to be getting booked in these places? No, dude, can't abide that. I can't abide.
Well, it's odd because they were getting booked before anyway. It's like now they're just allowed to do the things that we were doing. That's the problem. It's like you have people that are in sort of that Rogan sphere, Tony, obviously, who they tried to cancel a bunch. Mm-hmm. They've always been sticking to this voice. There's been a group of people that didn't change what they were doing. And there were people that didn't need to. I mean, you have like your Attels and your people that just, you're sort of grandfathered in to dark humor. But there's a lot of people who have gone completely against it. And now to just see them do a 180 is absolutely amazing.
On one hand, I'm happy the culture's changing. On one hand, I'm happy woke is dead.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it should be us that's stepping into that spotlight. It can't be them that's like, hey, good job, guys. I'll take it from here.
Well, woke is dead, but then it makes something that's it's irreverent boring, and it makes me want to be clean.
Mm. Yeah.
You're going to be woke soon.
No, it's not even woke. It's just like I never had
opposite.
It's weird. I never had a problem with any of these groups or anybody anyway. My whole thing is I make jokes. Yeah. So it's like I'm not really fighting a system as much as it may look. I am calling things out, I guess.
You're a court jester, a traditional fool
of everything. Thank you.
That's what it is. What the court jester did to the king. It was the one that they were the only one that was able to say what was true. Because anybody else said it, they'd get killed. And that's what your job is to do. And all these other people that stopped for 4 years, for 8 years, for 10 years, and then now are stepping in when it's nice and safe and the Overton window has moved over so now I can make these jokes on national television. No. It's bullshit.
But they didn't stop. It's very important to make the distinction. They didn't stop because they didn't agree with us. There's so many people that would tell me after and be like, wow, man, you got a lot of balls. It's like, well, you've got a big platform. There's a person that I wrote their entire 30-minute Netflix. I wrote the whole thing. And this person, in lieu of payment, I was like...
Ali Wong.
Especially the whole pregnancy bit was me.
It was all you.
I was like, instead of payments, bro, you're playing theaters. Just bring me on the road with you, and then, I'll get footage, and I'll do my own thing. I don't need your money. And we're supposed to do this thing, and then I get the most sheepish phone call from him. It was like, my agent just doesn't think it's a good idea. There's blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not bringing anybody. We're just going to, and I'm sitting here and I'm listening to that and I'm going like, you pussy. That's it. When you needed something, you called me. I said, yes. Now all of a sudden it's time for you to come through. And
that's this game, though. I mean, so many people it's why when I try to get to a point of success, I've brought people with me who I've always told I would. I think so much of this game is people doing that. I mean, the number of people that have promised me things that have gone on to huge levels, it hurts initially, but you eventually just get used to the fact that
you're going to get burned.
Yeah, and people become so big that they kind of...
That sucks. That really sucks. Like, is that just inherent in the entertainment industry? Like, you can't have a system that doesn't operate off of backstabbing constantly? Because that's Hollywood. Really. That's everything. All I hear from Hollywood is backstabbing. It's constant.
It is. It's hard to say. I mean... There's people that I know who have become producers, agents, and it's like it's always a measuring contest. So when you start doing that stuff, they kind of want to show off to you, so then they don't want to work with you, but then you'll work with other people, but then they'll want a bigger... Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, people will keep them in their circle. The problem is I have no problem going into a room with a group of famous people and wanting to learn from the people in the room and how they got there.
Yeah.
Some people want to get to the point where they just want to feel like a king all the time. So they surround themselves with people that make them feel that way.
Yeah.
And it's like that to me feels like it's never evolving.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of that in comedy.
Well, I think that exact mentality is how Hollywood has gotten themselves into the situation they are now, is like where the star is dead and nobody cares about them, is because they build themselves up this facade of people that will make them feel like a king.
Unless you're
and
Ryan
they're not
Reynolds.
Yeah.
There's
Even
also
him, the only reason he does money is because of the character Deadpool. Like, think about any actor, literally any, even Tom Cruise. People say Tom Cruise is the only movie star.
he actually makes more money off Mint Mobile than anything else. So
Does he?
he's a commercial actor, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take any actor and take them out of their star movie. They're not really a star. They can't pull numbers.
He's the only person though where like my kid wants to watch him because he's in it. You know, and like, or because I hear him, I hear.
Think of a movie that's not Deadpool.
Chris Pratt
He is-
pulls
he's-
numbers and everything he does, and he can't get it booked. He can't, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you know, it's more about being on message. And I will say this: we kept hearing about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
There's actual imposters, and when you're in a room full of very talented people want to be around other talented people, right? Untalented people want to eliminate any sense of talent around them because they feel like they're going to be exposed. The Rat Pack liked being around each other because they know a rising tide lifts all ships. I want as many good people around me as possible. I'm not threatened. I'm going to shine. When somebody sees somebody actually funnier than them, or a girl sees somebody that's more better looking or whatever it is, and their initial reaction is that's a threat, I got to get rid of it, they're snitching on themselves.
Well, and you have to be comfortable with who you are. Peter Lawford was aware of who he was, and he was just happy to be there. Sammy was the most talented who wasn't going to get the credit because at the time he was black.
Yeah.
And it was Dean and Frank that were the stars. You know, and it worked perfectly for that reason because they understood the dynamic.
Yeah, Jerry Lewis is the one I just don't understand. I never really got that, but
Well, he was more of an outside, guy too. So was Rickles in a lot of ways. I mean, he's legendary, but at the same time, he also knew his spot. The main four of the Rat Pack existed for a reason for how they did.
But you got Monty Python, you got the original SNL guy. Like, people that are talented have no problem sharing the ball.
None.
No, like there's no, but dude, you see this in sports too. But in sports, I will say it has a way of weeding itself out very, very quickly. This idea that I'm not going to pass to him to hit that he might score, that gets exposed and weeded out. Whereas, you guys have all been on set. You've been on set with somebody where it's like, oh, they have the funny line. I just think it would be funny if my character said, it's like,
Yeah.
what do you
Or
mean?
you say something and then they'll repeat it.
Yeah, honestly, that's what I
minutes later.
think the actual genius of Seinfeld who gets killed is that he had a show that was named after him, and he's a comedian,
Yeah.
but he's the straight man on his own show.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's everybody else around him, and then he turns into the audience proxy, and we see ourselves through Jerry's eyes.
And what people didn't get to, because sometimes he catches crap for that. He's like, well, he's not as funny on the show. It's like, that's the point.
Yeah.
He wrote it all.
He's
He's the one writing all
It
of
was him and Larry David.
Yeah, it's everything that's revolved around him. And usually, if you break it down to what his reaction was and how he handled it, it was great. But he was the straight man on his own show.
Yeah.
Which is the reason why it's iconic.
Exactly.
And name another show where the lead is the straight guy and doesn't have to have all the laugh lines, doesn't.
Not even Larry did. Not even his show.
Yeah.
That was the only show that ever did it. That's what made it so unique. Well, and I mean, it's just, like you said with Chris Pratt, like including him and Mel Gibson, there's 3 people now in Hollywood who believe in God. And that is Denzel Washington.
Wow.
He just became a minister.